In 1900, a boy walked into a business to ask for work. Clean hands, fresh face, good clothes, shoes black to a gloss. The man behind the desk looked him over and had the two words ready. "You'll do." And then, before he said them, he stood up, came around the desk, and looked at the boy from behind. The backs of the shoes were dirty. The heels. The boy had polished the front and left the back, the part he thought no one would see. The man sat back down and told him, "I don't see my way clear to give you employment." A small habit, the book said, is the index finger pointing to a strong or weak character. A boy who neglects the part he believes no one will inspect is not a boy who will do honest work. So there was no job, and the book was a schoolbook. B.F. Johnson's Physical Culture Primary Book, 1900, put into the hands of American children, teaching them, before they were old enough to earn a wage, that someone would come around behind them and that they would be judged on exactly the part they had meant to hide. It was not one hard-nosed businessman. The grown-up version was already written down in the books that taught women how to behave. Mrs. John Sherwood, Manners and Social Usages, 1888. A crowded American shop. A young woman behind the counter lounges on it, rude, in no hurry to serve anyone. A customer leans in, calls her "my dear," and remarks gently that the girl's fatigue has impaired her usefulness to her employer. The girl straightens up, eyes flashing, "I am as strong as you are." And the customer, soft, smiling, answers, "Then save yourself a report at the desk by showing me some lace." She was served at once. The report at the desk was not a bluff. It was real, and the girl knew it. That is why the lace appeared. In America, Sherwood wrote, there is no privileged class. Everyone is earning money in various servitudes: law, medicine, the clergy, art, trade, clerks, servants, seamstresses, nurses. And every one of them owes the work two things: honesty and pleasantness. Not only to do the work, but to do it with a pleasant face. The face was on review too. The report had an older form. It was English, and it came earlier. J.A. Stewart, The Young Woman's Companion, 1815, a book of advice for young women running a household. The mistress is told, plainly, never to trust the people who work for her. Implicit confidence in servants, Stewart writes, is the way to render them undeserving of confidence. Trust them, and they become untrustworthy. So she is to require regular weekly accounts and examine them punctually. The house audited once a week. 70 years before the shopgirl felt it, the report already existed, and there was a document worse than the weekly account. It came at the end. When a servant left the house, the mistress wrote her character, the account of what she was, handed to the next employer. Without a good one, she did not work again. Stewart tells the mistress exactly how to write it, conscientiously, toward all parties, neither aggravating nor disguising the truth, never letting partiality or resentment colour a word, because the next mistress would read it and a whole life turned on it. The reference letter, 1815. Its power over a person understood completely. The weekly account and the character judged what a person did. The next thing reached past what a person did, into what no one could see from outside. It went inward, and it was handed to children. Thomas H. Palmer, The Teacher's Manual, 1843. Every pupil was to keep a daily record for self-examination, his own conduct scored each day against a printed table of virtues, not the teacher marking the child marking himself. Every day. The teacher explained the record to every parent and daily practiced it with the children in her care, and she kept one on herself. The same record, and it covered everything. Had she kept the room at the proper temperature? Had she curtained the windows against the glare of the sun? Had there been no rude conduct around the stove? Was her temper uniform? Was she firm? Did the pupils appear to love and respect her? If not, She was to ask whether she was sure she is not to blame. Had she deviated in the course of the day in the slightest degree from truth, either in thought, word, or action? She had one worry about the whole thing. One, not that a child sitting in daily judgment on his own soul might be a strange thing to ask, that never comes up. Her single anxiety was that the record might degenerate into a mere form, that the child might audit himself without meaning it, a child taught to grade his own soul, and a grown life taught to smile on pain of a report. R. W. Emerson asked what manner of man that finally makes, in the conduct of life, 1881, and he answered with a naturalist. A man who had given his life to the study of living things. He had dried every plant in his herbal, his whole collection pressed flat and preserved. He had every snake and lizard sealed in phials, little glass bottles, and the man himself had lost weight and humor. Science, Emerson wrote, has also put the man into a bottle. It was not only the naturalist. The miller gives himself to the mill, the merchant to his wares, the lawyer to the chicane, the daily trickery of the law. They give themselves so wholly that they never come out as men of more force. They come out smaller, only the reactions of the mill, of the wares, of the chicane. Emerson finished with a story. A prince named Tissot watched a herd of elk playing in the forest and thought about the priests, housed and fed in their temples, and wondered why they should not take their pleasure the same way. The king answered him with a gift, 7 days of sovereignty, the whole kingdom his, and at the end of the 7 days, death. Tissot ruled. For 1 week he had everything a man could want, and at the end of it he was emaciated, wasted to nothing, from the horror of death, because for 7 days he could hold one thought and no other. That, the king said, was the priests, men who meditate on death without ceasing and so can never be light again. A man who can attend to one thing only becomes that one thing. The shoe checked from behind, the report waiting at the desk, the character carried to the next door, the child grading his own conscience against a table of virtues, every one of them the same. From Stewart's weekly accounts in 1815 to the boy's shoes in 1900, all of it driving toward the one end Emerson had already named. The plant dried in the herbal, the lizard in the phial, the man in the bottle,